Hello, hello.
Hello, lovers.
Hello, lovers. I love this like little so fancy. Hello, lovers.
Hello, lovers. Oh yeah, your little scroll.
Yeah.
I love your scroll.
Hello, lovers. Okay, YouTube is on. We are on air right now. Episode 6, Season 1, Sex and the City, Episode 6. Here on YouTube, Hex and the City.
Hex and the City. Look at us.
Oh, so fancy. What's going on, Stella?
Oh my gosh. So I loved this episode.
Love it.
There was so much. I was like, oh, that like there's just so much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. What do you have? Cards. Let's do cards first, and that will help us.
Well, it's only 1 minute, so we should wait a little bit. Just a little bit. We have.
Well, then we can talk about my cat situation.
Your what?
Yeah, did I tell you I'm getting kittens?
Oh, you get yes. I saw your Snapchat.
I think I Snapchatted it to you. Yeah, so I spent that time last time when we were together. Little Swiper made an appearance, and that's not my cat. That's my sister's cat. I was just babysitting for the weekend, but I'm getting some kittens of my own that are gonna come stay with me next week.
That's wonderful. Wonderful.
Right? So yeah. Does anybody have cats in Sex and the City? I feel like Aiden has a dog. Do cats ever show up?
No cats. I don't think
anyone ever had a cat.
No, everybody has a dog.
Yeah.
Charlotte later on has dogs.
Right.
Miranda has a cat.
There we go. Okay.
Miranda has a cat. You are so Miranda. Remember when Miranda has the baby and then the cat was playing with the belly button?
Oh.
And then she has to go call Steve to come and say, it's so scary.
No. Yeah, I'm getting 2 little ones, so I'm really excited.
Beautiful. You're going to be a pussy mama.
Yeah.
You're going to be a pussy mama. Okay, Lady Knight of Avalon is in the room, and Lady Knight of Avalon and Miranda has the cats. That's right. She said, can you quickly recap the episode in 2 sentences, please? 2 sentences.
Okay. Yes, I can do that.
Season 1, episode 6, Secret Sex, in 2 sentences.
In this episode, Carrie goes on her first official date with Big and sleeps with him, period. So that's sentence 1. The theme of the episode is about secret sex and the people that we hide from others, period.
My quick recap is Carrie freaked out after first date sex with Mr. Big. Sentence number 1. Sentence number 2 is no, that's one. That's just 1 sentence.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
So the other thing that's kind of going on in the episode is it's the photo shoot of her bus ad.
Yeah.
So that's kind of in the background of it. So that's kind of a theme that's going through there, like publicity and sexiness. And then I guess it's also kind of about the rules. Like, yeah, book the rules from the 90s, like the playing hard to get stuff, but like that whole thing of like, when is it too early to sleep with someone, and like all that kind of stuff.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so 5 minutes, 7 minutes in. For those who are coming in, welcome to Hacks in the City here on my channel on the Cusp Tarot. And if you're listening right now on Stella's podcast, what's your podcast?
My podcast is Stella Speaks, which you can find on Apple as well as Spotify and Podbean. So you can listen to this on the go if you're kind of popping in and out for the video.
On the go. Okay, so we always start our episode to draw a card, because we are witches, and we want to tie as much as witchcraft and tarot and oracle into our episode. So if you are also tarot lovers, witches, grab out your deck. Let's draw a card, and then we'll kind of like relate that card into that episode, which is season 1, episode 6, secret section. Secrets. Which deck are you using, Miss Stella?
I'm going to use the Halloween Oracle. This is a favorite deck of mine. Stacy DeMarco designed it. And I forget who the artist is. I think it's the same one who does her art for the Aradia deck that I used a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It's a cute one. I think I used this deck before because I showed you guys the backs. It's got the real like cartoonish backs, but then it has the kind of computerized, pretty designs for the rest of the cards. So I love this deck. I try to only use it during the fall so it stays special. But yeah, I like to pack it away, but then I get it out in the fall.
You're basically secret sexing her, that deck right now.
The Halloween Oracle deck, no. The world can know. The world can know. The world can know. Yeah, I love this deck.
I'm using the Muse. I'm staying with the Muse for the whole season of season 1 because she is the writer. All right. One card. How do you shuffle? You riffle shuffle also, right?
Yep, like that. I get on in there.
What kind of shuffler are you? If you're in the room or if you're listening, say it out loud. Roll down your window, go out to the door and scream, I am a... I
am a riffle shuffler. And then I always cut too. I can't say always, but I typically do. All right. Okay. I've got a card.
I got a jumper.
Ooh, I love a jumper.
I got a good jumper.
I love a jumper.
Okay. I have hello Hector Roberta Contreras Miranda. Contreras. Ooh,
the Emperor. I drew death. The eternal cycle begins here.
The Emperor and the death. I mean, the Emperor is still really, really like owning who you are. I wonder, the Emperor, I feel like the Emperor is actually very much Mr. Big this episode.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Very, very much episode. I feel like the other one, no, Mr. Big, for sure, Mr. Big. He owns it. He claims it. He was honest at the end. He has that big D energy. And so all about Mr. Big for this Emperor. What about you?
So this card in this deck is very similar, honestly, to the death card in the tarot in that it's about change, like something changing radically. There's a part here about Halloween. Halloween is a celebration of death as a part of life. As humans are conscious beings, we know about death, and many are afraid and uncomfortable about it. Halloween illuminates the universal truth that all of us will die just as all of us were born. So to be fearful of that end process is fairly pointless. And just don't let your fears and grief bring unnecessary pain, which I think is so relates to this topic, especially that conversation that the ladies are having towards the beginning about like how emotionally invested you become and when things end, and this whole like manipulation of sex and the timing of it to try to prevent yourself from getting hurt. And getting hurt is just a part of love. Like people die, people leave, even if you're together forever and you die at the same exact time, like you still go through stuff together. So I think that that's really interesting, this whole episode, that it's about manipulating in a way, like trying to get the desired outcome. And I think Samantha says it really beautifully when she talks about like, well, you can have sex on the first date and the guy can leave you, or you can have sex on the 10th date and the guy can leave you. Like, nothing's gonna stop you from getting hurt.
All right. The chat also, let's see. Lady Knight of Avalon drew a card, an oracle card, simplicity. I think especially women overthink things, and sometimes less is more in many ways. So does gay men.
Yeah, like taking things a little bit more at face value. Like I like at the end of the episode when Carrie splashes into his apartment after and just is like, well, then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. He has a logical explanation for all of the three things that she was turning around in her brain and making herself crazy about.
We all do that, though. We all, as human beings, we always do that. Maybe less so for men, I don't know. Or maybe men do that, they just don't show it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They would think it, but they don't verbalize it, or like ask their friend, especially ask their guy friend. Maybe they do. Maybe they have a powwow section like with their, with their guy friends too. Who knows, right? Lady Knight of Avalon is a riffle shuffle, and then overhand.
Overhand, does that mean this? I'm going to show this. Sorry, podcast listeners.
Like
so it's like this.
Yeah, that's overhand.
That's not a very thorough way to shuffle, but it feels good though.
Yeah, I do both. I do riffle shuffle and then overhand. Hello, Zach over at the Tigers of Bliss over here, and he drew a card, Page of Disc. Page of Disc is, I think it's more about, what would that be about? Earthiness, money. Page is the first one in the court card, so jumping the gun. But it's still grounded with the earthiness, with the earth. Interesting part.
I think a little bit of Mike Singer. If you guys remember him he's the one who dates the girl from the cheese shop. And it's like their connection is very grounded in food and sex and spending time, but it's just an immature connection. Like he's not willing to be in a real relationship with her because he doesn't think she's beautiful enough. And then when he tries, she's already done with him because she's like, you know what, you're not giving me what I want. And
immature. Immature. Yep. Immature. Knight. Immature. Jump to the gun. But yeah, practical, but immature.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's jump into the talking subject of today. What do you have? I have 2 points. That's all I have.
Mine are not very organized, but one thing. Now I'm just shuffling this whole time. This is going to be a problem. Let's just do this the whole time. Hands off. I'll be my new toxic trait. I loved the whole idea, like the whole thing running through the photo shoot and the power of the dress.
That's what you want to talk about, the power of the dress.
Yes. So I thought that was so funny, the way that, because fashion is a character in this show, right? Like it's sex, the four ladies, the city, like New York is a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then fashion, you're starting to see this more and more, like the last episode with the shoes, and then this episode with the dress. And
Would you wear that dress? Would you wear that dress ever?
No. I was just thinking about that. I almost got on to start Googling nude dresses because I love the idea of a nude dress and I love nude shoes. But that dress is not designed for humans with the amount of breasts that I have. I was like, the front's cute, and I'm like looking at the back, and I'm like,
the
you can't wear it because the back is so open.
It's all the way down to her butt cheek.
Right. Which looks great on her, but like I need a bra, and so I can't do those like little cuppy thingies here. Like this is a whole lot of situation. Like we need to contain a little bit. So
I think you should. I think all our listener and viewer right now should all pitch in $1 or $5, and we will buy a new dress for you, and it will be our finale look for you on air on my YouTube channel, and then you will just show it off.
There you go. Well, I do have a friend who does boudoir photography. So she could come and do a shoot. My cats could be involved. We could get our, our meowy Christmas shots in. It could be a whole thing.
Right. You would wear that dress in a show though. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
But you would not wear it in real life.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I love the idea of a backless dress because look, we just want to get into my insecurities. When I was in high school,
that's what I was trying to get into you. Like
there you go. All right. Well, let's go through some of them, right? So like in high school, I had a little bit of acne on my back.
Mm-hmm.
Like it never was really super, but I was always super like, oh, if only my back was clear. And now I'm like, my back is clear. And, I do yoga. So like my back is very strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to, but then there's a boob situation. So there needs to be some sort of like hoist thing in the front if the back is going to be open. Is that a thing? Like there's some sort of contraption that like
I think
suction in the front?
I am amused that you asked a gay man for that question, but I think there's a contraption that might be able to hold that boob up and glue it together. There's some kind of like.
Didn't you do a little bit of drag in your day?
Well,
one show, like not real drag, real.
Yeah, but I don't have boobs either. Those are fake boobs.
Yeah, but you still have to do something with so if you had fake boobs and a backless dress, you would have, that they need to be contained in some way.
Well, for fake boobs, you just for fake boobs, you wear it around your neck. There's no back to it. It's like a thing around your neck, and there's the thick boob.
I didn't know that's what you did. I assumed it was a bra and you stuffed it.
Yes, there's two methods to it. If you don't want to wear a silicone fake boob, that will be a bra, and you have bean bags or whatever in the front. But if you wear like a silicone, like real looking breastplate, it's kind of like a big necklace. If you think about a big necklace and then droop down two boobs, that's it.
Okay. Well, maybe there's a bra like that.
That might be. But why can't you just let your beautiful, voluptuous breast all hang out? I wonder, like, is it a self-conscious thing, or is it like a visual thing that you just don't like to see your breast bouncing around?
I mean, it's a lot of boob life. Like, well, when people have like little boobs that are like booping around, it's like, oh, that's cute. When I do it, it's like, that's obscene. Like, and I'm like, I don't know. I also like being a chested person, like, I also have become it's very comfortable for me to be contained.
Gotcha.
So when I feel like I'm flip-flopping around, it's like, how do I describe? Okay, if my boobs were balls, I am a briefs person, not a boxers person.
Okay, valid, sure.
Right?
No,
No?
because we don't mind the thing hanging around. We don't. It can slap to the left, it can slap to the right, front and back. It doesn't matter. We can boxer it, we can breathe it. We don't care. You can hang as low as it can. You can you can jump up and down, flip it all around. It's just there. We're like, oh, look at it. Bang, 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 bang. Like we don't really care. Like we don't. I don't care anyway.
You
So
don't care. You don't feel. I always thought it was like some people want to be hugged, and some people hold on loosely but don't let go. Like the song.
valid, valid.
I assumed. So yeah, I would love to get a nude dress.
Well, we'll make
I just need a little, maybe a halter if I'm going to do this backlist so we can lock and load.
Let's see. We have some suggestion there. Is the easiest way would be having a dress that has supportive bustier thing in the front that supports the girls and give the open back. Thank you, Lady.
Yeah, I think I've seen some. I've seen somewhere like the bra strap is almost like at the waist.
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
so glad we were talking about my boobs so much in this episode.
In the first 20 minutes, it's all about.
It's just all about my boobs, and I could say more. Like
the whole day, we can talk
the whole
about
day. I'll be like, we'll talk about the left one. We'll talk about the right one. We'll talk like.
Hector Robrada said, "Do not speak for everyone on the Castro." That's right. Some people don't like. Some guys do care about their balls bouncing back and forth. I don't. It is what it is. Some do. So I apologize for that. Do you have names for your boobs?
Yes, I do.
And do you care to share it?
I mean, I can tell you all, I guess. So the left one is Marilyn Monroe because Marilyn Monroe is left-handed.
Hello? Everybody say hello to Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn. Yes. And the right one is Sophia Loren, because she is also fabulous and delicious. So
I don't have names for my balls. They are balls. Balls.
It's like Breakfast at Tiffany's. How she doesn't name the cat. they're just these untamable creatures, and we just like they come in and out of my life, but they won't get a name.
All right, so let's talk about the episode actually. Instead of balls and breasts the whole day. First thing I want to talk about is the rules, and then the idea of the rules. The rules. Do you have any rules?
I read the rules, the book, The Rules.
There's a book.
I read it. Yes, there's a book called The Rules. There's like 3 or 4 of them. It came out in the 90s, like right around this time. I remember I was in middle school. And the rules, it's all about like playing hard to get. There's so many of them. Let me try to remember some of them. Don't accept a date for Saturday after Wednesday. That's a rule.
So that's too soon.
So like today is Friday.
Uh-huh.
So if you wanted to date me and you called me up, you're like, hey, what are you doing tonight? I have to be like, Oh, I wish I could, but I already have plans.
Because it makes you look
It's too soon. It makes you seem like you don't have anything going on in your life.
wow.
So yeah. So Wednesday, if the guy hasn't asked you out by Wednesday for Saturday, if he asks you out, you're supposed to say no. That's one of the rules.
So basically, it's like a 3-day period. If I ask you on Friday, it will be we can go on a date on a Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. But you're not supposed to really take very many dates in the middle of the week is one of them. Like Saturday is like the best day. Like Saturday is like if a guy really likes you, he's gonna ask you out for Saturday.
And then he has to ask you out on Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh dear.
But not Thursday.
That's why I never dated anyone in my life. I don't know any of the rules. I do not know any of the rules. I wonder if there's rules for the gays. I wonder if there's a book for the gays. I don't think so, but maybe it's just the same book applying to us. And I have broke every single rules.
Well, the rules, that particular book is really gendery. So it's like if a guy likes you, he'll do this. If a guy likes you, and you are supposed to do this, and so like if you tried to do it, it would end up being a very what do you guys? You guys don't say butch and femme exactly, but like that kind of a dynamic.
They still do, girl. It's getting a little bit. Oh yeah, it's getting a little bit more like not as labeled, but way back when, even sometime now, it's like mask for mask.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I'm like, whatever.
You say mask instead of butch, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was like whatever. Like, do you believe in the rules? Do you believe, let's put it this way, do you believe in rules in dating? Do you believe in rules in witchcrafts?
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And
okay.
that's a whole topic that we can talk about.
And tarot, right? Mm-hmm. Like all the rules, like you can't buy your own first deck and you can't do this and you have to do that. I guess I think that rules can help people establish a practice or establish boundaries. But I don't think that you should just follow rules just because they're out there and they exist. You know, like if there's a reason for it, then that makes sense. But if it's just doing it just because people say you should or shouldn't, I don't think that that's great.
I wonder also, like, who sets up the rules? That's the thing that I want to know, right? If it's like dating, who set that rule up?
Right.
Right?
And who does it serve, right? Like, what's the point of it? Like, the big example from this episode is don't have sex with someone on a first date. Mm-hmm. Right? And okay, why? I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. And I think that's true of all types of rules, right? Like I'm just saying before you decide to apply this to your life, why? Okay, so you don't have sex with someone on a first date because you think that they're gonna think that you're skanky and you sleep around. Okay, so then that's a judgment thing about how much women should sleep around or how soon or whatever, right? They're only gonna see you for sex, meaning like if you have sex too soon, then they don't notice your personality or something. Like I think a lot of the don't have sex on the first date rule is about appearance and that kind of a thing. Reputation.
Yeah, but I do think that like some other people would think that sex is sacred and they want to save it for later, right?
Yeah.
But the thing for me is like still, like who sets that rule up? Is it you? Is it taught by your parents? Is it, you know, peer pressure? Is it the society standard? What it is? And then when it comes to like witchcrafts and tarot, for witchcrafts, I really want to know like the effectiveness of it. That's what
Right.
when it comes to witchcraft, right? So you have this
Right.
method, I have that method. And then what I want to know is it how effective it is? Is it really followed by the rules, by the book, and who wrote that book, right? If I
Right.
do something on my own and it never affected me and it works for me, is that okay? While you're like, no, you have to, you know, do the circle with the salt before you go, like whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm just casting the spell. I'm on a bus. Done, right? What actually is the rule, the book, right? And then for tarot is the practicality, right? You can, you know, there's all these system, you have all this method, you have all these different deck, right? Like if I can read, this is, or I always use this analogy. If I can read toilet papers, there's different toilet papers, right? I read the toilet papers. Is that legit? That can I use toilet paper as tarot, right? It is what it is. How much of it is real, how much of it is effective, and where that fine line is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And I feel like I feel similarly about the rules of tarot and witchcraft as I do the rules of writing or other art forms, right? So, photography, you know, like there are certain things that they're not rules necessarily, but like composition, right? Thirds, things like that. If you think about writing, right? Like punctuation rules, capitalization rules, narrative structure, beginning, middle, end, and all these things, right? Filmmaking. And then we see people who break rules, like let's say Quentin Tarantino, for example. If we're going to talk about how typically a story structure is, right? You have the first act, second act, there's a red herring, there's all this structure, right? And he's like, nah, we're going to start in the middle and then we're going to go backwards. And then, but it can be done skillfully and you're still telling a story that I can understand, then it's okay to me that you broke those rules. Or so like I love going to a Shakespeare adaptation and it's like set in 1920 or whatever. You know, like I love all of that kind of stuff. I'm not a purist in my art. I love E.E. Cummings in poetry, for example. Like, yeah, mess with the forms. But I think it's useful, and I think Aleister Crowley said this to like, I'll paraphrase, and he's a garbage human, but he's very important in magic. And he said something like, you need to know the rules front and back so that you can break them effectively. Okay. And I kind of feel that way about art forms, witchcraft, storytelling, tarot. It's like, okay, know the rules so that you can then not necessarily break them just for fun, but you know why you're doing what you're doing. And you're not just willy-nilly doing things. Not that that can't be effective sometimes, but that's kind of my perspective, I guess, on rules. I don't know if that applies to dating or not.
In the chat, dating, go with intuition. I never play by the rules, said Lady Knight of Avalon. Witchcraft, just run rule, harm none. The rest is optional. You can follow the runs before you and create your own path. Very true. And do follow the rules when going to magic. Why risk it? Very true. In a way, right? The safety issue when it comes to supernatural, you know, right. Yeah, because you don't control that force, right? You don't know what that will do. So being safe is also a very, very potential potent ingredients on it applies to dating also, is not getting hurt. right? Like what Miranda, Charlotte was saying, you will get hurt. But
You're
then
gonna get
Samantha say, you get hurt first date, get hurt 10th date. What's the thing?
Mhm.
What other what other talking point you have? I have one big one.
All right, well, you do yours first.
I have to flip the paper
Mm-hmm.
to write this thing.
Oh, wow. Uh-huh. Oh.
Secret sex. Is it the ultimate form of intimacy since it exists in a pure state, exempt from the judgment of the world? Hence the judgment card. Ding, 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 ding. Or is
Yes.
it just other way in which we deny our feelings and emotionally compartmentalize our lives? When she was typing that, I'm like, pause, write it down.
Write this down.
Write
Yeah,
it down.
that was the crux of the episode and is so powerful.
So powerful.
Because, like, oh yeah, it's a silly show, sex, spanking, but like that is so critical. Like, because there is something to be said for secrecy and specialness.
Exactly. One thing that it stood out to me is exists in a pure state. Does it exist in a pure state though? You knowingly, I guess the sex itself can be pure, but I think the pure may not be the right word. It's more instinctual. It's
Right.
more visceral, is more animalistic. So maybe being an animalistic instinct is pure because you just go for your instinct, right? So that somewhat pure. But calculating to have keeping a secret and have secret sex is not really pure in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then
Right.
exempt from the judgment of the world, is it judgment of the world or judgment for yourself? Like you're judging it for yourself.
Right. Like that's the part that's interesting because there is something about like when you're just in your world with a person, whether it's, sex or not, like there's just something about the relationship that you have just with that person before the rest of the world is involved, right?
Yes.
Like before we introduce to friends, introduce to family, like there's so much cultural baggage around dating and sex, right?
Yes.
Like that it should lead to marriage, that it should lead to exclusivity, that it should lead to buying property together and cats or dogs or children or whatever, right? Like there's these expectations that okay, there's such a script. Like you go on a date, you go on another date, you go on all right. Now, once we get to this many dates, we should have sex. Okay. Once we go on this many dates, we should meet each other's family. And like there's so much judgment of ourselves and our partner along the way. Right? Is he good looking enough? Is she smart enough? Was he nice to the waiter? Did he tip? Like you're like judge, 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 judge. Okay. Did we have sex too soon? Is it weird that we haven't had sex yet? Are we not attracted to each other? Is he not attracted to me? Okay. Should I have met his friends by now? Is he hiding me? Does he introduce everyone to his mom this early or am I special? Like there's so many things along the way. And so this concept of purity, that it's a pure relationship when no one else knows about it, is pure, not in the sense of pure, like, oh, holy, and not pure in the sense of untainted, but it's pure in the sense of it's just these two people without
Being polluted.
all of this other stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. Which is one thing that is very, very pronounced in the gay community. If I slept with a Republican.
That would be your guilty secret.
Ooh, the closeted Republican gays. Like,
Yeah.
you know, can I introduce that to all my liberal Democrat friends? Would that be even, which is completely understood. And being from Omaha, Nebraska, cheers to that. I have slept with many closeted Republican gays, or not gays. Just
So do you feel like you've ever been someone's secret?
yeah,
Yeah, I think I have too.
yeah. And I wonder if someone has been my secret. I'm really like a Samantha. I might not verbally announce all the people that I slept with, but I don't think I'm ashamed of who I slept with. I have, yeah, like,
Yeah, I really liked that part because when when Carrie's discussing her story and Samantha's like, "Oh, I have one. This guy." She's like, "Yeah, you already told me about him. Yeah, you already told me about him." And I that was cool. That was cool to me because there are times with Samantha's character where you think like, "Is this just an act? Like, is she just acting like it's, no strings attached? I'm cool with it." And I think she has flickers of, moments or doubts, but that one I really loved because it was like that was that emperor moment of, yeah, I own it. Like, yeah, I slept with that guy. Whatever. I did it. It's a thing that I did.
the second part of the I couldn't help myself but wonder, is this just another way in which we deny our feelings and emotionally compartmentalize our lives? Oh, I want to throw up on that sentence right now.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
There's still a sense of, even I wonder, I now why saying the same thing, I couldn't help myself but wonder, does Samantha also do that, just in another extreme way, denying her feelings and claim that everything is open, sex is open, but at deep down inside she is secretly emotionally compartmentalized, the the longing for love, that she wants to have a husband. I don't know, I am not Samantha, right? But would that still be true? Do we all do that no matter what?
I mean, it's hard to know what is healthy compartmentalization and what's not, right? Like, I think that is a very useful skill to have.
Okay.
And it's like here's an example. If I'm going through personal BS, I can turn it off at work.
Okay.
Like, I am in work mode now and everything can be falling apart, but I can compartmentalize and focus. And I'm, kind of able to do that in certain situations, and it's a blessing, right? Like, I'll give an example. My now boyfriend flew out to come see me for the first time. Like, we met in Cleveland in July, and then I was on a road trip and we met up and liked each other and whatever. Deleted scene. And then it was Labor Day weekend, he was scheduled to fly out and come see me. And I had kind of compartmentalized it, right? Like, that was a summer romance. It was a road trip romance, like, but he was like, "No, there's something here. I'm going to come see you," right? That weekend, my baby sister had a stroke. She was 29 years old. She had a stroke that Thursday or Friday. He was scheduled to come out and see me, right? And I called him and told him, and he's like, "Do you still want me to come?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he flew out, and he couldn't have been better because he was able to just manage his time. I spent a lot of time that weekend in the hospital with my sister, and he just explored Omaha. And then, when I needed to go off and have something to eat, or we went to a baseball game at one afternoon, and he was really great. And one thing, so my compartmentalizing can be a bad thing. It can be a toxic trait. But that weekend, it was very helpful because when I was with my sister, I was with my sister. I was just with her, listening to her, whatever, being in the room, whatever. And when I was with Mike, I was with Mike. And so, is it probably an unhealthy coping mechanism that I developed from trauma? Yes. But it is useful sometimes to have like, this thing is in this spot and this thing is in this spot, because then I'm able to handle my business and not just be like, oh my God, my sister, oh my God, my sister. Or, oh my gosh, is Mike bored? Does he not like me? Like being able to kind of do that. But the bad part is for me, when I objectify a person and I compartmentalize them into a role. Like, you are just a sex person. You are just a work person. You are just and you don't like acknowledge a person's full humanity.
Cheers to that. I wonder, sometimes I still wonder, do I I can't say it, compartmentalize it in all aspects of my life? I don't know. I feel like everything's kind of like flow into everything.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm not a Zen master. Like, I think about other stuff while I'm doing other stuff, but like, there are times when I am able, to kind of put things and put people and put situations into boxes.
Yeah.
But if it's just a way of protecting yourself so you don't get hurt, right? Like, oh, this is just an F buddy. This is just a this, this is just a that. And you're putting these walls up, like, sometimes maybe it protects you. Sometimes it doesn't protect you. And sometimes I think you are denying yourself authentic connections. Now, does that mean you have to fall in love with everybody? No. But I think having less of an agenda and just seeing what actually develops in your friendships and in your sexual relationships and in your romances is better than like forcing it into a box.
And on that note, we are done. Bye. No, we are not done. We have to play the game.
Yay!
Our favorite
I have
game.
a good one this time. I'm excited about mine.
I'm excited about mine too. So we choose 3 characters from the episode to do cleanse, bless, or hacks. So cleanse is kind of like F, bless is Mary, hacks is Kella. What are your 3 choices, Stella?
I'm going to write them down so that you can see again. But here are my 3 choices, which we didn't talk about all of them from the episode because there's always just so much in an episode. But Ted Baker is one. So Ted Baker is the one that Miranda's dating that has the spanking. The spanking, yeah. So that's one. Mike Singer is the other one. Mike is the guy who's dating the cheese shop girl. He's friends with Carrie. Who, by the way, Carrie has all these friends that just call her up and tell them all of her personal business and then we never see. Like, we need to keep track of how many friends Carrie has throughout all these seasons, because I'm like,
It's the first season. They have to introduce those friends.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
They will never
so
return.
and the other one, I'm not sure. I think his name was Shmuel, but that is
painter?
the Hasidic folk artist that Samantha has her secret affair with. Not Samantha, sorry, Charlotte has her secret affair with.
I cannot choose. I have Mike Singer, Ted Baker, either Big or Carrie. I know, either Big or Carrie. I always kind of like to throw in like a wild card. Maybe I would stay with Big, I guess.
Okay.
But the thing about Carrie is like she's so. No, I'll stay with Big. I'll stay with Big.
Okay. All right.
I'll stay with Big.
So out of Ted Baker, Mike Singer, and Mr. Big, who would I cleanse, bless, and hex?
Mike Singer is cheese guy.
Cheese guy, yeah.
Cheese guy. And
Spanking guy.
Baker.
Cheese guy. And of course, Mr. Big. Oh gosh.
Big. And then the artist.
Right.
Like that. And then I'm gonna do fancy stuff. Like that.
It's gonna scroll so you can all think about it.
Boop.
All right. So from your three, let me think, and please in the chat, those of you who are playing along, let us know who's getting what. So Mike Singer, I'm not a fan. I mean, I understand where he's coming from. That, you know, like however Carrie says it, like, is he being shallow or is he being honest? And I'm like, both, I guess. But, you know, I think he needs to grow up. He's our discs, right? He was our page of discs. Ted Baker seemed totally fine. Like, he seemed nice. I don't know how big of a deal spanking is. Like, I guess I wasn't as shocked.
I mean, I think it's more of a shock that the way that he handled the situation. Yeah, when Miranda brought it up, right? Is it a deep down secret, or
then he like,
or the fact that he knows Miranda went through his stuff? That's why he's pissed. That's two different things.
Yeah, we don't know why does he react that way.
Yeah.
So that gives me my question mark about, is it because if it's like I'm creeped out because she went through all my stuff.
Completely. Yeah.
Yeah. But people would do that. Let's be real. Like, I would, like, leave me alone and be like, yeah, oh yeah, that would be me. Just like Miranda too. Click of the deadbolt.
Horrible.
Yeah. And then Mr. Big, who Mr. Big in this episode I think is all right. You know, like, I think if we take him at face value, he went out with a girl that he thought was beautiful. They made out in the taxi and it was fun, so they slept together. Then he was like, all right, let's get food because we're hungry. I like this Chinese place. He calls her and says, oh my gosh, I can't stop thinking about you. Let's go out again. They go out again. He takes her to the Chinese place because he thinks that she likes it and he thinks it's the best Chinese in the city. And he's busy when she wants to take him somewhere. He's like, I have tickets to the Knicks. So, like, if there's no shady business and all that is honest, then I think he's just living his life. So in this particular episode, I think the big out out of Mike, Ted, or Big, I guess Big is going to have to be my bless.
Okay.
I'll keep him around. Then, which one? I guess I'll cleanse Ted because he needs a cleansing because he has a lot of things in his mind that he needs, like a literal cleanse, right? Like we need to deal with your shame that you have around the things that you like.
Mm-hmm.
If that's why he did it that way. And then hex Mike. His hex is that every cheese that he tastes now will taste rancid. That's his hex. I've just hexed his cheese life. No delicious cheese for you.
That's a very powerful hex. That's no joy for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Or here's the hex. You're allergic to every kind of cheese except for American cheese. Kraft singles. You can only eat Kraft singles for the rest of your life.
Do not mess with Stella. Do not mess with her. Do not mess with her because those hacks, these hacks will destroy somebody's life for like destroy, torture. Okay, for me, I would hacks Mike Singer. I mean, the reason that there's if you do it subconsciously, sure, I'll give you a chance. But he's doing it mathematically, strategically, planted, like everything like is calculated. I'm like, I'm gonna hex you.
Yeah, you're right, because he's not just like not facing it to himself. He's like, oh yeah, I take her there because it's no one ever goes there. It's dark. It's where I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, you know that she's not beautiful. I was like, well, you could get it up. You could get it up and put it in her, and you think
she must be beautiful enough for Mr. Little Singer.
Like, what do you mean she's not beautiful? I'm like, goodbye, done. But he got what he deserved at the end of the episode. He got what he deserved. He's just gonna and then I'm like, maybe I should cleanse him. Maybe he can just kind of rotate that cycle, right? But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like you have been. Maybe I should cleanse him. Give him a little chance.
Yeah.
Maybe. I know who I'm gonna bless. For sure.
Who? The artist?
For sure. For sure, girl. He's smoking. He's smoking with this big lofty business. He's an artist. He's good with his hands. He's painting all these feelings onto a mirror. He's all sweaty and he is hairy. He is hairy. Oh, girl.
I didn't know. I was like, oh, I didn't ever think those little curls. I was like, ooh.
Got some meat to hold on to. Like, ooh, girl. I can bless him every day. 24 hours a day for the rest of my life. Something to hold on to. And he probably has money too. I mean, let's be honest, right? He's an artist. He sells art. So
he's a famous enough one that she had to go and see him, you know.
For sure. So I will bless the artist, stay for the rest of my life. It's even a hacks. I do think that I might hex Tat Baker because the way he handled the situation. He just kind of walks away.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about it. He's like, there's some kind of secrecy going on. But then I'm like,
he could have laughed it off. There were so many ways he could have handled it besides like.
But then he also like, you know, oh, you can stay, you know, have breakfast. It's 6 a.m. in the morning and all this stuff. So it's equal, like half and half. Maybe, you know what, maybe if I have to choose, I will hex Mike because he's calculated and I will cleanse Ted. Maybe there's some kind of issue that he has to work through. And then, like, you know, it might be a
shadow work like we were talking about last time.
What is it?
Shadow work. Weren't we talking about that last time a little bit? Yeah.
So that's that. Funny thing, Hector said that he will hex Miranda this time. I wonder why, because she went through his stuff. Maybe.
I'm getting better, but I used to always go through everybody's stuff.
Really?
Like if I was at a house party, I would go through their bathroom cabinets.
Do not invite Stella over because
I'm better.
she will.
Unless I'm dating you, then all bets are off because I'm like, if I'm going to be stuck with this person for life, I need to know all the secrets. What am I getting into?
And then you hex them with no cheese.
Yeah.
That witch. Hector said, I didn't thought you'd be a bear chaser. Ladies and gentlemen, and who are in between, I am chasing everyone.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Tigers, bears,
otters.
Cockroach is what I don't chase, but everything else on the menu I'll chase. Let's put it that way. Desperate, yes. Thirsty, always. Cheers to that. I don't know. I used to feel like, I don't know. Like I find beauty in things now, like that I guess I'm more mature or whatever you want to say. But I I've changed. I've changed major perspective on people, and I also feel like finding beauty in things is all perspective. It's all perspective. It is so stupid for me to say I can see art in a very non-judgmental, subjective manner. Why can I not see people? Like, oh, he's a bear, not my type. You can't find one thing you're attracted to that bear, that beautiful eye, like what? Like, don't tell me. And then I guess there's a sex act, like Ted Baker. If you can get it up, there's got to be some kind of beauty in it, right? So if it comes to like, if I cannot get it up for a bear, yeah, sure. It's all about connection also, right? It's all about skill.
Right.
It's all about skill also. Let's put it on that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm chasing everyone. So all it's open, free for all. I mean, honestly though, like it's a public announcement. I would date women. I would date women. I would date anyone.
Then come to my house. Why?
I would date human being. I would date human being. I would, like, for real. Like, why not? So up, like, boop, like it's
there
up.
it is, out there.
There it is. Okay. Tigers of Bliss say they scurry away whenever the light turns on.
That's what cockroaches.
Yep.
I didn't know that was a thing, but
that's why you don't date them. That's why you do not date them. But I could, and they're ugly. They are ugly. They're ugly. They're ugly. They're so ugly. Ooh. No, I can't do it. I can't. Okay, I think that's it.
Beautiful.
So
we're solving all the problems of the world. Our emotional distance, our compartmentalization.
One episode at a time. We're saving the world.
One episode at a time.
Amazing. So where can we find
you? So you can find Stella Speaks on Apple. So if you want to, like, through the podcast app. I'm also available on Spotify and on Podbean, which is my host. So you can find me there too.
And I am on Instagram, TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. Thank you. I don't know if you can download TikTok anymore. If you have a TikTok already, follow me there. YouTube, of course, on the Cusp Tarot. Since I can since I need more platform out there, my movie is coming out. Thank you so much. And the movie is called Fatal Influence the Movie. Fatal Influence the Movie.com. They're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook. I am BD, coming out October 30th. What the what?
I'm so excited. I signed up for their email. I followed them on Facebook. I'm ready. I'm ready to see your movie.
FatalInfluenceTheMovie.com. I'm going to put it in the chat right now so I can feature it like that.
Yep, and then I have it in the show notes below the description in my podcast. So you'll be able to find it there too.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. Bless the D, bitches.